Hello and welcome to New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. You are very welcome. Thank you for being here, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching this on a replay. Thank you so much. Today's subject is Did You Know? Now we're doing that in many different themes today. We will be learning more birds today. We'll be learning knacks, hacks, facts and stats. We'll be learning so much more. How I got into many different things, like different crafts. I have so many different crafts for you today. Lots of different crafts. So if you're into that, gardening, got lots of gardening things today to share. How we enjoyed a concert here for no cost. I have got footage of that, but I haven't got footage to show you today. I will probably put the footage on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, on an upcoming Dawn's Diary episode. So it's a video of my week. So I'll probably put it on there. I've got to look at how many seconds of the music I could actually play, because people say different amounts. So I've got to look at that. But there's that coming up as well. Lots more coming up, so do stay tuned. Let's go over and look at the comments. Hello to everyone joining. And we have Shirley from Glitter World. We have our great moderator, Steve, from Steve and Tina Jewel. Just watch one of their videos. I think it was a live. I watched a live back. Grand Rising, guys. Okay, so hello to all of you. Thank you for being here. Very much appreciated. And thank you to everyone watching. Okay, what shall we begin with? I have all my cards laid out. This is how I roll. I must do footage again of, now I've got a new way of doing my lives. I must share behind the scenes footage for you. Okay, let's begin with this. So today's hacks I have for you are food hacks. And don't forget, if you're interested in recipes, I do have a recipe playlists on both my channels, and yes, they are different recipes on both channels. So if you like one channel, then do look at the recipe playlist on my other channel as well. I will share with you today. The first one is for crispy roast potatoes. Now, my tip for that is use olive oil. That's my tip. But here the tip is to first bring to the boil in well salted water. Drain and sprinkle liberally with flour. Put into a hot pan in which the meat is roasting, and then continue as normal. The next tip is, if food has been over salted, cut a fairly large potato into slices. Add it to the pan and cook for a little longer. This is, of course, because potato absorbs salt. The next tip or hack is remove root vegetables from plastic bags when storing them, because that's when they sweat, go off quicker, and may even sprout. And the last tip for this today is peel fruit vegetables thinly. This is because most of the minerals and vitamins actually lie just below the skin. So if you're peeling the skin back hard of your vegetables, you are actually losing a lot of the minerals and the vitamins. So be aware of that. This is why a lot of people tend to eat skins where possible. Okay, what should we go on to now? Let's go on to this. Okay, on to the birds. We're currently looking at birds. And today we're looking at a very common bird as far as I'm concerned, and that is the magpie. It is one type of bird we have the most of in Cyprus. They're everywhere. You'll be very hard to come by if you can't see several magpies. And I'm sure many of you know the song, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. Okay, so magpie is actually from the crow family. Its length is 46 centimetres, which is 18 inches. Its plumage, there is a greenish gloss to the black and white feathers. Have I got my feathers here? No, just over here. Let's see if I can get one. I don't know how well, yes, several feathers are collected from my garden, apart from those peacock ones. I don't know how well you can tell. That is a magpie feather. Can you see? I don't know how well it shows up. Yes, that's better. Look, you can see at the top that green tinge. Can you see it? Did you know that a magpie's feathers actually are green? Can you see right by my middle finger? I hope you can see it as clearly as it is. We turn it over the other way. You can see, maybe not as clearly that way. It's pretty clear that way for you to see at the top there. So they're actually green magpie feathers. I should go through all these feathers with you one day. I think I have got a video of my feathers actually on my other channel. No, it might even be on this channel. I have got all my bird feathers. Steve saying yes, and Shirley saying it's beautiful. Yes, I like the green glass, the old green glass. Yes, Shirley, it is. Yes, I think a lot of people think magpies are black and white. Indeed, the picture of them, sometimes they do actually look a bit bluey as well. So that's magpies. Now, we always thought the magpies were a bit of a pest in the garden. They make a lot of noise. They do sometimes dive bomb my cats. If I hear a lot of squawking of the birds going on, I have to check they're just in the tree shouting to each other or going into another bird's nest, which they do a lot. They use other birds' nests. So I thought they were a bit of a pest until one time we saw one on our patio is one of our palm trees, and it was under the patio cover and it was flitting in and out and rah, rah, in and out, and I was like, oh, he's got some bug there, maybe there's a gecko running up the tree or something. And then we suddenly saw every time he was rah, and went away from the tree, a snake head kept coming out like opposite in defense. And I thought, well, this is good. If the magpies are quite happy to get the snakes, then, because we have good snakes, but we also have bad snakes. So if they're happy to get the bad snakes, then that is pretty good. That is pretty good. So since then, I've allowed the magpies to hang out. Shirley from Glitterworld is saying our puffin birds' bills turn bright orange. Oh, beautiful, beautiful puffins. I like puffins. They've just got such a cute bill, haven't they? And I really love toucans. The colours on toucans' bills, wow, they're amazing. Really pretty. Okay, so about the magpie. The most unpopular garden bird, unless you've got snakes, the magpie is damned for keeping watch on the garden songbirds to locate their nest and then ravage them. Yet It is unfair to single out the magpie, as even tits and thrushes occasionally kill other birds. A magpie wedding starts when a pair tries to carve out a new territory from an old established one. The residents attempt to drive the interlopers out, and the noise of the chase attracts other magpies. Yes, you often see a big flock of them. Voice. A harsh kiak or a repeated shack, shack, shack of alarm is often the first sign of a magpie's presence. The tail is 20 to 25 centimetres, which is 8 to 10 inches long. Feeding. Like most crows, the magpie eats almost anything. Beetles, grasshoppers, slugs, snails, woodlice and spiders, and many seeds and fruit. The nestings of other birds, animal road casualties, and injured birds are easy meals. Bird table. They prefer meat and bread scraps. Nesting. The nest is a substantial structure of twigs and sticks lined with mud and plant material, and is usually built in a tree or tall shrub. In areas of Europe, magpies nest on buildings or electricity pylons. The family stays near the nest for several days after fledging. The young remain in a loose flock. The dome nest has a single side opening and is roofed over with thorns as protection against predatory attacks from other crows. Nesting information. March to May. 1 or 2 broods. 5 to 7 speckled greenish eggs. 22 days incubation, female. 22 to 27 days fledging. And time until independent is actually unknown. And if you can see the nest, now some people think these nest in the top of trees because they're so big. They think they often belong to big birds, but no, they are magpies. So that's that. So sorry it goes dark in between me showing you things. I can't find any way to stop that occurring, but we know what it is. Okay, let's go on to Monday's Quote Corner. Okay, I have got on my board here that I plan to do some new quote corners this week. So what I do now is write every day, and then I put plans of what I want to try and accomplish. I didn't quite manage it today. I had one of the things down was to edit 3 videos, and that's a bit of a stretch considering one of them was lots of bits and I really had to mess about with the bits and pieces. But I did do something else that wasn't on my list that took a lot of time as well, so that balances out. So anything I don't get done moves along the week. So I put it in another day where I haven't got too much that I need to accomplish. And the rule is if I don't get things done by the weekend, well, I can't go and play in the garden. Talking of gardening, now, I was talking, I think last week on my live, saying what I've been doing in the garden. And I've got a video, one of which I edited today for you, was going through all my seeds. So I show you all the seeds I've got, which seeds are the ones I've harvested, previously, not this year, but previously from things I've grown. And also I show you seed packets. I show you how I store seeds. I give you lots of tips on storing seeds and storage and many other things besides. Oh, my planning, how I normally plan my garden. But what I've been doing is going through the seeds. This is why I made the video. I was going through the seeds to see what I felt I could plant now. So I have planted as seeds the following. I have done red onions, white onions, and these are all in little pots, no covers on or anything, just out in the garden, but in little seed pots. Red onions, white Lisbon onions, a couple plum tomatoes, and one's come up, beetroot, round radish, so the small round radish, broccoli I've done in my big water bottles, the great big water container bottles. I have done 3 lots of radish. I have done lots of different types of lettuce. I have done fennel. I have planted long radish, you know, the really long ones. I've done some red and some white. I love the white icicle radish. I have done parsley seeds. These are in cat food bags. Parsley, coriander, rocket. I already have some Malabar spinach growing there, so I haven't done any more of that. Endive. What else? Leeks. Did I say leeks? I think I said leeks already. And then, turning my paper over, they are all coming up. Like, you know, when you first see your little tiny shoots coming up and they're identifiable rather than are they weeds. So I was so pleased with that. I've now planted some more. I have done 3 more water bottles of broccoli, and I have done cat food bags, more leeks, more red onion in a cat food bag, and another cat food bag white round onion. And then if you've been watching my videos, you will know that some of my pallet wood raised beds, one of them I have got 3 white sand delivery bags in. If you don't know, look at my Hoogle videos, you'll see it. So one pallet wood raised bed fits exactly 3 white sand delivery bags. So if you're building and you have a delivery, your sand can come in these great big bags. They won't last forever, I don't think, but they're pretty tough. So in one of those, I have done the whole bed of long white Lisbon onion. And another one, I've done the white round onion. Now, I'm dubious about planting directly in the beds because I feel they will grow better in pots. So this is why I've grown the ones in the cat bags, the onions and the leeks, and I've put those actually inside the sandbag, so they're in exactly the same situation of weather, as in sun, light, wind, etc. And see, I'm assuming the cat food bag ones will come up first and do well because I've grown them before in those. I've actually still got some in those that I've decided not to transplant, but I want to do a comparison. And did you know, if you do comparisons of same things growing in the same areas but in different pots or whatever, you will see a difference. So that's my little experiment, sown exactly the same time. I've covered the bags and the sandbags with straw from my compost. I don't let my compost go down to nothing because I want the grass cuttings to go to like straw and hay, and I like to use that on top of all my beds. So I'm going to see if they grow. And I'm going to be skeptical because I wasn't going to grow tomato seeds, and Mike said, "Oh, do a few, see if they come up." And yeah, I've got one little one. There wasn't many seeds. I just grew a few that I had saved in a jar, and there was about 3 or so stuck on the bottom of the jar. So I thought, oh, I'll stick those in. I think they're plum tomatoes. So yes, that's what I've got growing. For me, we're still in summer, but we don't really have autumn or fall. It kind of is a few days, and then our winter is like your fall, if you like. Not really. It's more like spring. It's more like spring because we don't really have rain. So fall, most of you think of rain and wind and a bit like, oh, let's put t-shirts on or things like that. No, not for us. So let's say it's almost like another spring. It will be our fall. We're still in summer now. We're still in the height of summer. I was out yesterday. I thought I'll just lay out on the sunbed and read. And I'm not joking. I was out there less than 10 minutes. It's like, it's too hot. It's too hot to just lay here. So, yeah. Oh, explain this to me. When it's that hot, I can go on a lilo in the swimming pool and lay on the lilo, and I feel much cooler than if I'm laying out on the sunbed. Is it just in your mind, or is it that the water reflects the sun or something, so you're surrounded by coolness? I don't know. But yeah, I'm all right doing that. Obviously, you have to be careful then, because you have to make sure you're not out. It's like if you're out in the hot sun, but it's a really windy day at the same time, of course, you're going to burn. So do be aware of that. Okay, let's go on to this. Okay, so today, this is still from my book of funny after dinner speeches. I think it's quite a short one. And it says, at a Royal Air Force conference on the future, the scientists tried to convince the top people of the value of the vertical takeoff aircraft, but without much success. So one of them told the story of the 2 caterpillars. They were quietly crawling along through the grass when over them flew a butterfly. One caterpillar turned to the other and said, "You know, they'll never get me up in one of those things." So that's quite funny. Quite funny. Okay, what shall we do now? Oh, let's do a bit of this. I'm looking around here. Now, if you watch my Wednesdays live on this channel, you'll know I've been sharing my recent cross-stitch project with you, and people have been guessing what they think it's going to be. I was talking there saying that one's nearly coming to an end. I reckon I've got a few more good hits at it and it will be finished. And I was talking there about saying, oh, I think I might do an embroidery next, because I'm brand new to embroidery. I've only done one thing of embroidery. I'm not going to be a great embroiderist because I have hand problems and brain problems, and I find any of these things very difficult, take a lot of time, hence why I do cross stitch, because I've done that for years and I've found a way I can do it. But embroidery, I'm not good at. As I say, I've only done one project, but I enjoy it. I want to have a go and I want to try and be better at it. So I was saying, shall I do an embroidery one next? But that's going to take time. It takes so much time to do embroidery. So what I thought is I would start an embroidery one and show that on the Mondays. So I'm doing both because when the cross stitch on Wednesday's finished, I want to start another cross stitch. I so enjoy cross stitch. I don't have to think too much with it. As long as I've got perfect light. So come the winter, I won't be able to do so much of it. I can't work with artificial light, no matter how brilliant the light is. So for now, I think when Wednesday's cross stitch is finished, I'm going to do another cross stitch on Wednesdays. So I thought I'd start an embroidery one and show that on Mondays. Now, I'm not under any constraint to show it every week because, as you know, on Mondays I've got lots of topics on Monday and I don't do them all every week. But I've kind of, Wednesday gives me a push to make sure I sit down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes and do some cross stitch every time. The embroidery will depend on how well I am and how good my brain is functioning. So what I want to show you first is the method I've started for the embroidery. As I say, I'm just doing it my way. I'll never be great at it, but I wanted to try something I've done with cross stitch. Now, I had this bag and this I did in cross stitch. This is my work. Now, the way I did this is I did the design of Fred and Wilma Flintstone on paper. The paper is still there. Now, when you do cross stitch, as you start to do the crosses, the paper comes out, obviously. I had to pin it and sometimes I had to put several pins around a piece because it was coming away from the bag. If you get any paper left, you could get a pin and pull it out. And of course, it's not very likely it would stay in if I washed this bag. So I thought it worked out quite well. I had to do a grey border because obviously it kind of keeps the paper all together on one big sheet. So I did a background. So I thought, could I do that with embroidery? Could I use a picture and embroider over the paper? I wasn't sure if that would work because, as you may know, embroidery is lots of little fine stitches. And I thought, the paper's just going to come away. So this is just an experiment. I got some old material. I've been throwing away clothes and all sorts. So I've been saving bits of material from old clothes. I put it in one of these, I forget what they're called, hoops. Put it in one of these hoops. I don't use hoops for cross stitch. First time I ever used a hoop is embroidery. I get why you need it for embroidery, but I don't with cross stitch. So I found a picture and I just pinned it on and pushed the hoop over the top. And first of all, I'll show you in a minute, I started to just do a stitch. It looks untidy because you're looking at the paper, not the material. And I thought, hold on, is it untidy? And I can't take it out because I'll never get the paper back in the right place. So then I thought, hold on, just edge, do like a back stitch, edging the picture, then take the paper off, and then I might do neater embroidery stitches. So can you see the green, the top of the chair? Now, it's probably neater than it looks to you because the back is quite neat. So it probably looks messy and it looks like gaps where there's not gaps. It's because the paper's sticking through. Now, as you can see, it will break up very quickly. So then the legs of the chair, I thought, well, hold on, just back stitch it. And then back stitch everything I want to do in the picture. Then take the paper off. I've got an outline and then I can do stitches and it should be neat. Now, if you do embroidery, let me know your thoughts. It's probably a big no-no. I know you can trace. I did try first of all. You'll see remnants of, I tried to trace the picture. I don't know if you can see it because you'll look at the wrong side. But I did try to trace the picture, but I couldn't really trace the picture. And I do have one of those special pens you can draw with. So I thought, no, stick the actual picture there. It's not something I'm going to wash. So if some bits of paper did get left on it, as I say, this is an experiment for me to try and do it. Any picture that I can find. I've got old colouring books, which is what this is from. And I thought I could do, if this works, I'm talking about doing the outline. I'm not going to do it like this. This is just ridiculously hard. But if I do all this sort of backstitch outline all over the bits I want to do, then take the paper off, pull it off, and then I can do my embroidery. What are your thoughts to that? And as I say, I do know you can trace and you could get special material. I can't afford to buy fun things for myself, so I'm not going to go and buy anything. As I say, I do have one of these pens you can draw with. You can draw with pencil, but I find that very difficult to trace and draw. If I tell you I can't even cut in a straight line, it gives you some idea. But yeah, I think I'm going to carry on now. As I say, it was just an experiment. And then I said to I can't sort of look to see if it's working. As I say, this is neater than it looks because, as I say, from the back, I can see my stitches are pretty good. But this is not the way to do it. This is what I'm going to persevere with and see what happens. The other thing with embroidery, I've realised how much thread gets used up in just one little area. Oh my goodness. So I'm interested in the stitches, but the time factor. So as I say, we're going to keep the cross stitch for Wednesdays. So we'll have 2 projects on the go, sort of, but Wednesday I'm not committed to showing you every time. So maybe once a month, you'll see how that's going. Will it look 3D? Maybe. I think with embroidery, there are stitches you can do that make it look 3D, and there's some stitches you can do that are flat. Also, if you use more threads, cross stitch, you use 2 threads, or you pull the strands apart, 2 strands use for that. But what I've got, let me show you, I've got stones holding things down. What I've got is I've got my cross stitch thread, but this container is just embroidery thread. Now, embroidery thread is literally any type of thread you want to use. Nonna Grace is in the house. Hello, Nonna. Guys, do go and check out her channel. She's doing a really fun thing of sign language. So particularly if you're in America, it's useful because it's American Sign Language. So do go over and have a look at that. And be sure to share out her channel. So a special hello to Nonna. So hello to Nonna. That gave me a good excuse to have a drink there. And Steve sharing Nonna Grace's channel. So guys, do go and check it out. Yeah, so this really is my embroidery. Oh, I just put that in it to come out again. To me, embroidery thread is anything and everything you want to use. So when I've had my auction wins, some of these are what I call cheap type threads from there, or I've seen a bargain. Like these ones were, I can't remember, I've done a video when I've got anything. So these ones, or ends of kits. So this was the bike embroidery I did. This is what was left of that. Then I got this. This is, I believe, I know not a lot about knitting either. I think this, they said, is crochet or knitting yarn. There's that. So I thought, well, that would do. And that's what Steve's asking about. Will it be 3D? So depending on what type of thread you use, these are very thin, almost like sewing cotton. So that if I wanted something more flat or to edge, and then you've got things like this yarn. I sound like an American saying yarn. So this is much thicker. So this, if I wanted something more, and some of these you can divide into strands, some you cannot. So when I was talking about my cross stitch, use 2 strands. Can you see how that's one end, but there's 6 normally? You can pull it apart, and cross stitch you normally use two strands. Anyone new to cross stitch often says, why is my cross stitch not look really good? And it's normally because people don't know that you should divide the strands up. I got these awesome ones in Jumbo, which is like our better version of Target, if you like, and you can get almost anything there. And these are multicolored ones, and these were really cheap, so I didn't know what I would use them for. They were just really pretty, so I thought, well, they can go in my embroidery thread box. So this is all embroidery on. There's ones here like cord almost. There's these more like cordy looking. Let me show you the green one. You might be able to see better how it looks more like cord. So I wouldn't use that on cross stitch. And while I was sorting out throwing away clothes, I did make do amend with a lot of clothes. I was talking about on one of my videos that I had a old like beach sarong type thing, or beach wrap, and I wasn't going to use it, so I made it into a skirt, a full-length skirt. So I did that, but there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't reuse or make into something else. So a lot of that material I've just cut up and using it to do embroidery, just to put in hoops for practice. So while we're on crafts, let's have a look at this. I'm on the wrong place now. Let's look at this. So a long time ago, you will remember that the man at the stables had some old like rope. It wasn't material, it's more synthetic, and it was quite pretty. And he said to Mike, oh, Dawn does crafts, see if she wants it. And it was really pretty, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I wanted to use it up in one go. So I made this basket. This basket, and for a long time, that's the bottom. The bottom's very pretty. I should display it like that. And for a long time, I said to you guys, I've made it. I don't know what to use it for. I wanted it out. Well, I found a use for it. I got my sweets in there, or my American friends, my candies. I got my candies in there, and it just sits on my little table over there. And as I come in and out, I get one of my sweets. And these candies, sweets, are my favourites. You would have seen I made a video on that on my other channel, one of my shopping hauls. And these are called stones. They are like flavoured sweets. They're hard, like a boiled sweet, and they are so many different flavours. And you know what? The reason I buy them, they really work for my travel sickness. They really do. And if you don't know, I can't really travel at all, not really very far at all in a car anymore. And these work. This one's banana. What is there? Banana, grapefruit, strawberry. There's loads of flavours, loads and loads of flavours. Blackcurrant, melon, blackberry. Did I say blackberry? Apple, orange. I'm not keen on orange flavoured sweets. Really nice. So I finally found a use for this, and this method is how I make my I haven't got one here. Have I to show you? I make little bowls out of paper. I don't think I've got one in my drawer here. No, I don't have one here to show you. I make little bowls out of paper and card, and you just literally cut little tiny strips out, curl it round, roll it like you're making a roll, round and round, and you just get more bigger. You can change colours at any time, and that's how I make my bowls. And I don't have one right here to show you, how typical. But I've got a video on that, so if you're interested in that, I made a hat like that as well. So same method, you can use old material or anything, and you just start, screw it up in the middle, and then just go round and round, depending on what you're using, whether you glue it or whether you sew it, whatever you do. This, I sewed all the bottom, and then in the sides, I've actually got long skewers, hence why you've got these on the top, so you can't see the skewers. And this, I weaved in and out the skewers. No, I stuck the skewers through, so the skewers are in the middle. You can't see the skewers on the inside, and so the skewers are down, and then I didn't weave it round and round. I pushed them as I was going round and round. I pushed them through the skewers. And then one of my volunteers was here, and when I finished, I said to her, can you just glue with the glue gun? I can't use a glue gun anymore. Can you just glue these on the top? And I said it might be worth just running some glue sort of in any gaps round here. So as I say, I made a hat, same method. This was like the top of the hat, and you just go round and round till you've got the size you want, and then you just gradually come down a little bit lower. Don't suddenly drop the next level, but gradually come up a little bit more, and overlap them, come up, and you can make whatever style hat. You can add material to it. You can make a paper hat with the same method, or the hat I made is paper, like card, going round and round till I got it down to about here, and then I just got old bits of material, fancy pretty stuff, and just layered them and sewed them on to the shape I wanted. It's very easy. If I can do it, it's dead easy. As I say, you can glue. If you're not very good at sewing, you can do that as well. So you can make whatever sort of hat you want. It would be very unique. I use some netty bits, I use some pretty material. If you want the video to that, it's on my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, because that's where most of my crafts are, and how I show you to make these baskets. If you want any of those videos, just ask me, and then I can give you the link to those. Nonna Grace is saying, I made paper bowls and gave my little one away just a few days ago. Oh, beautiful. You can make all sorts of sizes, all sorts of shapes, baskets, anything at all. And the thing I love most about it is you can use rubbish that you would throw away. Sometimes you're throwing away a bit of pretty colour cardboard. Let's say it's been used for something. Cut off the strips, you can use them. There is no waste in this house at all. So yeah, that's my kind of thing. That's something I can still just about do. As I say, I can't use a glue gun now. But yeah, and that rope, as I say, rope, it's synthetic-y, but that is so pretty. It took me ages to think of what I could do with it. Absolutely ages. And then when I made it, I'm like, you could put a handle on, could add a handle. And it was difficult because I had this long bit and I wanted to make it a certain width so it's usable for something, but I had to kind of work out, kind of laying it out, that I would have enough to come up, not go out, because it was hard to figure out for me how much rope would be needed, because you do it really tight at the bottom and the base. You want that really thick and strong. And I was like, I'll end up with a plate at this rate. I'll end up with a plate. Oh dear. yeah, so that's kind of my arts and crafts. Anyone who hasn't seen, I'll show you as it's here another example of my cross stitch. This is from my head. Some of these are individual pictures or bits taken from other pictures that I've put together, because I thought all my cross stitch I've done, I haven't got anything related to my garden. So, as I say, things like the gardener, that was part of a big picture of something else entirely. The little cottage was another picture. The arch was from something else, a whole garden scene. I just took that. The water pump under the bird table, that was huge. And I didn't just make it smaller, reduce the pattern. I actually changed the pattern so it would look right, because there were parts of it I wanted to use and some of it I didn't. The fence, I can't remember what that was from. That must have been from a picture. The bird table, the cat was from something I've done before with a cat sitting in front of a stove. The path was just my design to try and link it up a little bit. What bit do you like best? Oh, I've just gone with my chair forward. I'm getting backache. I like the arch, actually. I like in the middle, the pot with the pink flowers. I think the shading on that, same as the tree with the 3 circle bits on. It's probably got a proper name, but that, I quite like the look of that. So what's your favourite bit of that? So that's just an example. My favourite thing I've made, I've shown it before here. It's 3 little houses. I think one's a stone cottage, one's like a old manor house, and then there's another one, and they were all separate, and I put them in a frame where you've got one on top of the other with like borders round. I really like that. That's probably one of my favourite things. That's hanging in my kitchen. I do like the bag because the concept I came up with to make that. And if you remember, there was a big saga of I ran out of the grey, but I didn't know what grey it was. I'd got the grey in England and I didn't know which company the grey was, and here I couldn't order anything, but I had an auction win, one of many auction wins, a cross stitch stuff, and there was a grey that more or less matched it, so I was pleased. Could you put the link to your other channel? I think I might be able to do that. There's something at StreamYard, I physically can't look things up, but I do have here my what do you call it, Word doc. I've got everything on the Word doc. So I do have my Word doc up because I was posting today. So in my Word doc, I do have my channel links. So I'm just over there now trying to find that channel. There it is. Copy, minimize, paste you there. There, post you. It's coming. Tranquility through life's natural beauty. I've put both. I've done the @ and I've also done the URL because I know a lot of people are still on the old system of URLs. So you've got both there. I just always post it as both now, because if I post the @ one, people say I need the URL, and if I post the URL, people say, oh, what's the @ one? So you've got both there. You should find me. And as I always say, the way I go to channels is I just type in the channel name. That's the way I do it. I can't copy anything in the chat. So when I have new people in my chat, I literally have to star their comment and then write down their channel name after. Oh, I got it now. Yeah. Yeah. I just watched one of yours. What is it? I put a comment. No, I don't know. I did put a comment. It was something very cute. I know that much. Something very cute. Yes, so I've lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, something else I was talked about. I said I would tell you about today. Let's do this. And I'm just looking to see in my light ring, we have Forrest running round and he stopped on number 5. So let's get him out the light ring. If you haven't met him, this is Forrest, and Forrest was named by the Gypsy and the Vanilla Gorilla channel, and they called him Forrest as in run, Forrest, run. And he goes running round and round the light ring and stops on a number. And today he stopped on number 5, which is in my countdown. Number 5 is the hand up. You've got this, 5. So we'll talk about that. But before we do that, I got up while that was playing, one of my baskets. Yay! And this is cardboard, like just old bits of card. So I did find one of my little baskets. It's solid. It's solid because I glued it, so it's solid. Okay, so we have Run, Forrest, Run. And Forrest stopped on number 5. Greystone Part 4. That was it. That was it. Did you go looking? Yeah, that's the trouble. I watch so many people, and sometimes I forget who's done what video, and sometimes I credit the wrong people for the wrong video. Okay, so you got this. What are we talking about that links up to that? Well, oh, thanks. I've got loads of them, and there is a whole video on those, so you can see them all. Yes, you've got this. Well, this is how me and Mike couldn't afford to go to a concert last week. So how did we enjoy the concert? And it was in Cyprus, and it was a tribute band, and it was for ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra, which I'm sure many of you will be familiar with. And that is one group's music that both me and Mike really enjoy nearly every song. And it was too expensive. When I say expensive, we're not talking English or American concert prices. No. It was 26 euros. To you, that's like, that's not very expensive. Anyway, so how did we get to enjoy it? Well, we had a plan. And what we did, sad us, we drove to the venue, and it's an outside venue. It's in one of the amphitheatres. It's not an old-fashioned amphitheatre. It's a modern-built amphitheatre, but it's an outside venue. And we decided we had a plan A, which we said before we do plan A, let's try plan B. And because the amphitheatre is up on a hillside, it's at ground level, but then as you walk down and round it, it's then up high. Oh, Steve's got the LP in blue vinyl. Lovely. So what we decided to do was walk round and see which point we could hear it very well. So we walked round to where the road is the lowest point. So it was up here. And as I say, I took a little short bit of filming, but I'll put that on my other channel to show you that in one of my Dawn's diaries, because to put in a video on this channel, it doesn't really compute with anything else to make a video. So we walked round, as I say, ended up that they were performing up here and we were down there. And at this point, we were at the very back of where they were performing, like the stage. Remember, it's outdoor. We couldn't see it, but we could see all the lights. As I say, when I link the video, you'll see. And you can see all the, you know, the tall, like, stadium lights at the back. And we were literally right behind, but low down, where they were playing. Now, because we were right at the back, you can hear the drummer the most. We could hear it clearly, but you heard the drummer more. But we could also hear the backing track being played. And those who know ELO, some of the songs, you'll know they couldn't have achieved all the sounds. There's one bit where you hear like a woman's chorus. What video is that, Mike? Can't remember which song that's in, but they go, ooh, and the sing. Well, they obviously weren't there. So there was a backing track, and then you always wonder, tribute bands, how much is backing track and how much is them? You don't know. It sounded good, sounded very authentic, but we heard it clearly. Sometimes I would be up dancing. It was dark at this point because it started at 8 or 8:30. 8:30, so it was dark by then. So, and it was just a roadway driving around the back. There were some houses opposite, but they were set well back and lower down still. But we were in kind of the start of their driveway. One of the houses, like, it was pavement and it was a driveway, and their house was down around the corner of their drive. So we sat on their wall for a while as well when we weren't dancing, and that was good. But then they do, I think, a couple of hours or an hour and a bit, something, and then they have a long break. And Mike said, let's do plan A in the break. There was a bar. It's a hotel and bar, but you can go in. Let's go in the bar and sit there, which is next to it, but at the front. So, but they had their music on in the bar really loud. So it was like when the band started playing again, the tribute band, it was a conflict of the two. So you couldn't hear one, you couldn't hear the concert as well as we thought you would, until I went up the end of their bar. They've got a swimming pool, as it's a hotel as well, and I could hear it really well up that end. So we got to hear pretty much all of it. We heard pretty much all of it. The sad thing was there were some English people in the hotel, and I don't know if they live there or they've done it before, or the bar people told them, I don't know. But when the interlude had finished, they said, come on, you coming over with us? We just walk in because no one's checking. You've paid for the second half. So we said, no, we're not doing that. They said, oh, everyone does it. And there was quite a horde of people when I wouldn't do that. No. But all right, we didn't have it listen well, but we had a drink out, and that was all we could manage to afford. But then we came home, and yesterday Mike put ELO music on, and I said to him, why do we need to go? I said, why do we need to go out? We can have our own concert here. We've got no neighbours. We can play music as loud as we want. And Mike went, it's the atmosphere. And I said, yes, but you can't drink much when we go out because I'm not allowed to drive. So he has to drive. I said, you can drink as much as you want here. He went, atmosphere. I said, we create our own atmosphere. Oh, Steve's done the same. Listen to Stevie Wonder from a hill. Fun night. Yeah, I think that actually makes it more fun. Makes it more fun indeed. But no, I wouldn't like try and get in. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, we were literally in the street listening to it. But as I say, I'll put the little filmy clip up on my other channel under one of my Dawn's Diary playlist, and just so you can see, now you know the story. If I remember, I'll tell you when I've posted that. I'm cheap, says Steve. It's, if people didn't pay the silly prices that they have now become in particularly England and America, don't know about other country prices. Yes, I do. Most of them aren't that extreme as what they are. If people didn't pay it, they would have to lower the prices. They only charge silly money because people pay it. If no one paid it, they couldn't do it. They really don't. I mean, I know about theatres, and I'm talking about West End theatres and big venues. I know they make tons of money. Don't let them tell you that it costs this and it costs that. No, they make a killing on it. They make a killing. But yeah, I know that prices aren't as ridiculous here. They are for the tribute bands, which are funny enough. They're overpriced when they are tribute bands. But as I say, we just had Bryan Adams here. We've had quite a few. Ed Sheeran. We've had quite a lot of places. We've been to see Boney M out here, and that was €10 for real Boney M. We've seen UB40 out here for free. They just do sometimes these random pop-up things, and they just the word spreads and you go. But I still want Elton John to come out, but he's not performing now. I just missed him, but I think it was a day in Malta because prices are so cheap abroad. And as I've said before, if you find anyone you want to watch is coming to Cyprus, it is cheaper for you to fly to Cyprus, come and stay with me, get a cab there, see them, have drinks, have a meal. It's cheaper than seeing them in a lot of your own countries. It's absolutely silly concert prices. I mean, how much would you pay? This is why it's become the rich and the famous, and all these high earning YouTubers. They all get first dibs at the tickets. They all get seen, but that raises the money. You're paying to be in that hub of people, really, which is very sad. So, yeah, I think it's like anything. If you pay the price, they're going to keep selling it at that price. If you don't pay, if no one pays, but people can't do that. People can't do that. So I'm going to finish there today. Thank you so much for being here. Nice to see people popping in. Thanks to Steve for being awesome moderator, as always. Very much appreciated. And I will be back here again on Wednesday at the same time. Look out for my videos posted before then, and hope you all have a lovely day, because I know most of you, you're starting your day. My day is 6:36 p.m. right now. So until next time, Meraki.